Here's a little tour of Nice from the back of the motorcycle. We'll start with one of the turns. Now, I'm not actually tilting the camera here. This is the tilt of the motorcycle. This is the same area where I learned to drive standard the other day. Just to give you the full effect, these sweet purple flowers up here on the right, the smell can sometimes get trapped inside your helmet and stay with you as you're driving through the mountains. The same thing can happen with the smell of the sea. Or you can get trapped with the smell of, say, roadwork, depending on where you're driving in Nice. Now here's another turn. If you'll notice, we had to go into the oncoming traffic lane in order to make it around. There I am still on the back, proving that I have yet to fall off. I've taken out the sound so you won't be able to hear my head smacking up against the back of the professor's helmet, which I think I got a handle on later anyway. And here's construction, so we'll go downtown. Me still on downtown, one of the more regular streets in Nice. And you can see cars are parked in both directions. Everyone has little dogs. We even saw a couple riding with their medium-sized dog sandwiched between them on a scooter. So it's not that I'm completely confused by their road rules, but transportation is still a little different here. And here we have palm trees, which I had no idea Nice had until I looked it up on Google Street View, but they're nice. They're good. And sunlight and beautiful buildings everywhere, old buildings with history that I have no idea about yet because I still barely have even been able to look at a Nice map. I don't know where we are now, but it's beautiful and I really enjoyed the ride. Here we are driving into Place Messina, the square that's sort of in the center of Nice. There's a walking area, which apparently the bikes can drive on, a fountain. And when we've gone down there at night for a drink, a guy playing saxophone, it's really got a nice feel to it. If you can see between the buildings beyond, you can get a little peek at the older area of Nice, which is my favorite area so far. Here are some of the older buildings in the older area that I just mentioned, where I've been to the flower market and we've walked around quite a bit. There are a lot of walking streets, and unfortunately we went to do this tour on a Saturday, so it was sort of hard to get around, and the bumpy streets made the camera work very bumpy, which I thought might be a little annoying. It's probably already annoying enough to try and look at the city from the back of someone else's bike, but here it is. So this old part of Nice leads into another area that I got a chance to see before I left Canada, Le Promenade des Anglais, which apparently is where I'm supposed to feel at home. And it's pretty nice. They've got palm trees. It's all along the sea. It goes for a long, long time. People run there. They go for ice cream. And on Saturday, apparently they go for traffic jams. But this is a good chance for us to show you what these motorbikes actually do. They drive between the cars. Don't get confused about this white line down the middle of the road. It does not mean it's a one-way road. It means it's a two-way road. And it means that motorbikes will also be driving along that line in both directions. It's a little odd, but I wasn't driving, so I put my trust in my friend and we got home. If you want to know what Nice looks like, this is where you have to go. Here's a view of the sea. And this I wanted to finish with because it's us going back up the mountain on one of these tiny little streets. This one, I swear, has got to be one way. I hope we didn't run into any cars going the other direction. But this is in a wealthier area, so the houses are bigger. The streets are still tiny, tiny, but most of the cars sort of found a good place to park, so they were out of our way a little bit. This is the kind of hill that I went on to learn standard for the second time, in the dark. And then we ended up in the hills somewhere with turn after turn after turn. It was just S-ing and zipping and lacing and I don't know whatever they call it, but it was terrifying. But these are the streets that I will eventually come to know and enjoy driving on. I at least really enjoyed them from the back of the bike.